Hey girls, welcome back to another episode of Pageants and Prosecco. Now, I always say this, but this one for sure is going to be a mini bite-sized episode because I got things to do, but I want to give you guys this gem before I hop up out of here for today. I really wanted to share with you guys, when it comes to the power of presentation, like we've been talking about, a lot of that is going to come down to your outfit and your wardrobe. Now, go back and listen to the episode right before this where I kicked off this entire series about the power of your presentation and how to pretty much look the part of a title holder, right? That's the goal, is to already show up pageant weekend looking and feeling the part. So, right, all you gotta do is just solidify the information with the judges and confirm it on stage, and then tie it with a nice little bow when the crown is placed on your head and that sash is across your bosom. So part of that is how you show up, and how you show up is your wardrobe. There's a very popular phrase that goes, dress how you want to be addressed. Okay? Dress how you want to be addressed. So that means coming looking sharp. Okay, that's what the old folks used to say. Looking sharp. Classy, sophisticated, everything fits. No lines showing underneath. We went into all this in the last episode. Panty lines, bra lines, chicken cutlet lines, shapes up there, down there. The only shape you want to make is a little curve to accentuate your waist, and natural curves if you are a woman. And then, of course, your smile is a curve too, right? But I want to talk about wardrobe and what that looks like. I think one thing when it comes to the pageant world is that for a lot of girls who are really, really into fashion, modeling, being in fashion shows, or walking these runaways, we as a whole industry do not keep up with fashion trends. We don't set fashion trends. We don't follow fashion trends unless somebody else on stage did it first. I think that is such a injustice, because just think about it, okay? We are literally on stage in 2 to 3 outfits as a competition, talking about swimsuit, gown, fun fashion, interview. At least 4 chances to show up and show out in the fashion. Now, we know for some national pageants, you can't really do too much when it comes to swimsuit because it is given to you and is sponsored. However, I want to talk about evening gown and or fun fashion and an interview, but mainly gown. One thing I think that we need to do more of is look at what is trending. Currently happening right now is what? Paris Fashion Week, okay? Look at the fashion weeks coming out. Right now is fall 2026. Fashion lines dropping. Just look to see what other designers are doing. I am such a fan of following overseas designers, specifically on Instagram. Instagram, once you set your algorithm up, you'll start seeing all types of gorgeous gowns. And although some may be out of the budget for on stage, just look at what is trending. Specifically, a lot of African designers, Nigerian designers, I've been seeing are really, really going crazy in their gowns when it comes to shapes and structures of the gowns, colors, and boldness. I really want us to take a page out of that book of what other designers overseas are doing. I made a post on the Pageants and Prosecco Instagram page about Robert One's, I think that's pronounced his last name, fall 2026 looks, Now, these were just some looks I just happened to see while following the show, or the fashion week. But I screenshotted a few of them because I said, you know what, these could be good evening gowns, for real, or even a fun fashion gown. So hop onto the Pageants and Prosecco website and our Instagram page to see those as just some examples of ways we can think outside the box while still remaining elegant, still wearing a dress, still showing our bodies off, but stepping our game up when it comes to different kinds of ways we can wear an evening gown and different types of evening gown structure. Because let me tell you, and I think you are too, am so tired of seeing these nude, metallics, bedazzled, semi-actually nude gowns where it's like just crystals all over a girl. At one point during one of the Miss Universe competitions in the teens years, maybe this was like 2019, maybe around the time South Africa, Zosie won Miss Universe, pretty much everybody had a gown that was just shiny. I remember it specifically where, actually, I think it was when Catriona won. Yes, when everyone had on just a bright nude color gown. And Kat was the only one who had on red. And Vietnam that year had on yellow. But I'm telling you, like, everyone was just wearing nude, skin tone, bedazzled dress. And some were a bit more risque, showing a little bit more skin than others. And some girls shouldn't have turned around. But at the end of the day, they all looked the same. I think that's one of the reasons why Kat stood out and why her walk is now called a lava walk. Because she literally stood out in that top 5. Look at those pictures. Look at the top 5 that year. She literally stood out because everyone was wearing silver and gold. And I think we need to just try to push the envelope a little bit farther as a whole when it comes to what we are wearing on stage. Now, I would love to see someone try to incorporate a hat, like a real high fashion hat. Now, some of the options I mentioned on the Instagram, have a headpiece. So look at those for inspo. Look at what's happening at Fashion Week for inspo. You don't have to wear the exact same dress. I mean, you could, you know what I'm saying, if the budget is there. But look to see if there's something that you can be inspired by, whether it's a certain shape, whether it's the way the bottom looks, the top looks, how it hugs the structure of the waist, something so that way you can set yourself apart. And I made this on Facebook as a tongue-in-cheek joke, but these high-low waist cape things gotta go. The high-low, I think, ladies, we need to just go ahead and retire it. It had like a good 10 to 15 year run, and there's nothing new we can do with a high-low dress. Like, unless the low of the dress, the inside of the dress is bedazzled in such a way, I think we really need to like just kind of retire that look. Okay, I know it's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. I know you already have that one in your closet used ready to bring out for fun fashion, but look, them high-low dresses with the cape, them waist capes, gotta go. Okay, gotta go. I just want to see something new. I want us to start pushing the envelopes. And honestly, when you guys think about it, when you think about people who have won Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss America, 9 times out of 10, they were doing something that was slightly different than the others. You know, I think of Zosie, South Africa, who won Miss Universe. She had a 2-piece gown on, and it was ombre. It was fringe when fringe was somewhat new. I think it was fringe. And she had like a cape somewhat over her shoulders that I could tell was removable. Very unique. It covered her shoulders. And she came out with the short hair. A whole different look than what we're used to. I think about Nia Franklin's coming to mind, Miss America. She had a big flower, I think, on one shoulder. You think about Olivia Jordan, had that ball gown of a pink dress that stood out when she won Miss USA. You know, I'm trying to think of somebody else off the top of my head right now, but I'm drawing such a blank. But I think that I would even love to see a Michael Cinco gown. We saw Pia, give up her crown in that gorgeous blue dress. That was Michael Cinco. And then Iris France had on a red, similar Michael Cinco big ball gown dress. And those could have very well have been evening gowns. Like, we don't have to show skin and abs and legs for days to convey evening gown. That's not what they're judged on. They're judged on presence and aura. So if you can rock a gown of that magnitude, go for it. You might be able to get away with it without wearing heels. You know what I'm saying? You could probably get away with it if your shoes ain't showing. But that's neither here nor there. I'm even trying to think, when Pia won in blue, she turned around, or the girls who did different things when they posed at the end of the runaway, like Kat did with her hair, or like Pia did when she turned around, straight back shot and then turned around. There's so many different ways to stand out on stage, and your fashion is first. That's what people are going to see first. And then it's your energy and your confidence and your body language, of course, that comes second. But think about how you're presenting yourself when it comes to being on stage. One thing I always do, and I was noted for this in my last pageant, was I had a theme with my wardrobe, which was black and white. So everything I had on was black and white, I think, except for interview, because interview was yellow. It's my go-to interview outfit, my yellow one. But nonetheless, my on-stage outfits were black. We had an opening number outfit. I had like a French theme, so I wore a beret. I had on these puffer sleeves, and I had on this black and white shiny mini skirt. And guess what everyone else wore? A short, shiny dress. Your basic standard dress. And some girls thought they were hitting on some because it was fringe. Judges ain't worried about none of that. How can you stand out? And the people in charge of the pageant, which was actually Van Bros, sent me a handwritten letter acknowledging that they love my wardrobe. And they love the theme. They love the black and white. My evening gown, that slit went all the way up to the gods. I had it off the shoulder. It was velvet and it was white up top. Gorgeous. Got it off Shein. Had it tailored. And I had it bedazzled. And it was a whole new dress, simply from tailoring. So it's not the price. I paid $46 for it. It's not the price at all. It is the energy behind it. And you can see that dress on my Instagram at the Brett Brooks, TheBrettBrooks. It's pinned. It's top pin post. You'll see it. Gorgeous dress. And I took a risk by having a really high thigh slit. So take a risk this season. Really hop on Pinterest. Look to see what's trending right now in the fashion scene. Like I said, you don't have to mimic the exact outfit, but try to be inspired. Try to make your Pinterest board full of different types of looks, different types of themes, different types of genres of styles. Really try to get inspired outside of the pageant world of what's happening in the fashion world and what you can bring a piece or two of that inspo into your pageant wardrobe. All right, like I said, it's a bite-sized episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember to stay beautiful, stay blessed, and stay locked in right here to the Pageants Epicycle podcast. If I brought you any value, any value at all, share it. Share the podcast with your friend. Share it with a loved one. Share it with your competitor. Share it with a pageant Patty, so that way she can become a pageant Patricia. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode.